Today we're building a PC that can play CSGO, Dota 2 at really high frame rates, not just for competitive gamers, but can also play some of the later titles, of course, GTA 5 and Mafia 3 as well. Very playable on this rig, so let's take a look at what we've got. Welcome back to Tech City, and this month's PC is one that's been put together with all used parts. So we're not doing that news meets you or anything like that. This month is a special one, and it's also very special because, man, I had a heap of different problems this month, from the memory to the motherboard to the CPU to the GPU, and I just got there in the end. But as we go along, we'll talk about some of the problems. But with that said, let's take a look at all the prices of the components. Then we'll do the build and then the benchmarks. So usually when I do my PC builds, I make sure that all the components are usually working off camera, but this actual piece of hardware, all the combination here, had so many problems. First of all, the motherboard, the actual two outer memory slots won't work at all with any memory in them, even if the memory modules are perfectly working. So the motherboard had a problem to begin with, and then I actually had 3 different memory modules here from the swaps that didn't work at all either. So these 3 are bricked memory modules. So essentially at the moment I've got 2 different 8GB memory modules in tandem. And I mean, hopefully I can get the best out of all this. So we've got memory problems and motherboard problems. But in the end, this whole thing is still working. The graphics card boots up, the motherboard's working with the CPU. So now we can put together the build.
I used to be so innocent. All the things that happened have changed me. Internally, have changed me entirely. Somehow you tore down all of those I placed to keep me safe from going insane. things you said to me, after the things you made me feel, the night goes on and on. The night goes on and on.
So there we have it, guys. All those games in those benchmarks were running at really good frame rates at 1080p high, which is where I like to have my settings generally, even at any resolution. High gives you that really good frame rate for the performance. However, I did notice Mafia 3 ran terribly. I had to drop that down to low settings, and then we got around 60 FPS in that game. Though I will say that game runs like pretty much ass on any configuration that I know of. At least speaking to everyone else in the tech scene, they say that this game is extremely hard to run. So Mafia 3, kind of an outlier there, but this machine, man, it managed to go up to 4.8 gigahertz, even though I did have to tune it down after the benchmarks, just because it's really not a healthy overclock to be running 24/7. The graphics card, that managed to get up to 1.1 gigahertz. However, this 290X is so damn hot. I was really surprised at how hot this thing is. I mean, even the accelero that I put on there was starting to cap out, and I've never seen a graphics card cap out an accelero cooler. This thing's got 3 fans on it, the fan speeds were ramped up, and this thing's still making the temperatures rise. So I could only imagine how much the thermal throttling would happen on the stock cooler, which is really the same cooler as a 7970 cooler, and the 290X just has a massive die on there, and it puts out a lot more power than a 7970. Though you guys might be wondering a little bit more about those problems that we had on the way. I mean, the memory, man, that just didn't work. Some of those sticks that I got traded, actually the majority of those sticks didn't work. I only managed to find 2 sticks in the end that did work and put them together on a motherboard which had 2 dead DIMM slots. And then for the CPU, anything other than the stock settings were just thermal throttling, which I was really surprised with. I managed to get it up to 4.5 gigahertz, but then it was thermal throttling. And then my delid kit, that was worn out. Like, I've actually got to put in a dispute for that because the thing's broken after 2 delids and I can't even use it anymore. So I quickly went down my hardware store, just said, hey, can I take a look at your vices and test them out? And they said, sure. So I quickly delided the CPU down at Bunnings Warehouse, which was pretty cool. It did do the job. And then we got that working. The temperatures were phenomenally low on the CPU after I delided it. At the same 4.5 gigahertz, I believe the temperatures dropped a good 40 degrees, which is incredible. So if you guys haven't delided already, then some of these CPUs, I highly recommend deliding them if you want to overclock. And then moving on with the problems list, the cables didn't extend far enough from the power supply, so I decided to throw in some extensions I had lying around. I've had these for actually quite some time. They're not as good as the Gamer Chief extensions, and so I decided to use them and spice up the build in the process. But anyway, in the end, everything just worked out. I mean, if it didn't, I would be a lot more angrier. So we do have a build that works, even though the motherboard and the memory, a lot of that memory didn't work. So I was really surprised, but we got there in the end, and we now have a build that plays games really damn well, which I'm glad and I'm proud of. But with that said, it was a long time and it was a very tedious process. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you have any questions or comments, then be sure to drop a comment in the comment section below about this rig. I don't even know what to call it. I might be thinking of a name for it. Maybe the scraper buyer. I don't know, something crazy, but let me know in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.